All right, gang, this is the first time we've ever done this. We've done seminars and special things within the elite group before. We've done a lot of those, but the first time we've ever done like, hey, let's focus on a quarter. So I don't have a massive agenda. I've got a skeleton for us to walk through. But I am one of those people who love like event changes. Like I love the new year, get crazy for the new year. I love the ending and beginning of quarters because I love it when I'm supposed to go somewhere and all of a sudden I got to change directions. I'm like, some energy, something has diverted here. Let's do it. Now, don't get me wrong. If my mind is set and I got to go somewhere, I get very annoyed. But like if something happens all of a sudden, I think, okay, something's going on here. But I always say, God doesn't turn the calendar, but we do. And so we got to, it means something. And the fourth quarter for all of our industries, we've got two in real estate, and then Vicky owns professional edge cleaning, and I've got my businesses. The fourth quarter is significant, is absolutely significant. And if we play it by accident, our results are going to be by accident.
Mhm.
And so we're going to talk marketing. We're also going to talk as much business as you want. I do have a background in business consulting outside of marketing that started with the healthcare industry. So I love digging into the numbers. And so I'll start with me. So I started the third quarter privately, everybody, terrified, just terrified. I had helped start a medical practice and I put a lot of energy. I spent 2 years into helping start the practice and it got started. And then I hadn't spent as much time on capitalize and the pipeline just wasn't as full. And so much like all of you, if we don't have a full pipeline, we don't have business. Then we're just hoping people are just calling us random. Like I always say, we're just hoping people like us so much they want to give us $10,000. And so my pipeline had dried up because I had spent so much time focusing energies on helping to start that practice. And so for me, the third quarter was hustle. Like I needed to I had to double up on networking events. I had to double up on making sure I was specific with my seminars, but I had to become a better salesperson. And so I've got 3 years of Cardone U sales training. But I knew it was time, like, go back and listen to your books again, listen to your audiobooks again, do, listen to cybernetic training books. I mean, anything I could, because it came down to the point that I just had to be in front of people and say, can we do business today? And so I started the third quarter, I had all the optimism in the world, but my pipeline was not full. And we've had a wonderful quarter. We really have. August was the best month we've ever had. If I have a great, I'll need a paid in full tomorrow to beat that number, and I don't have that meeting set. So someone's going to have to love me enough to want to give me $10,000. But we haven't had a bad month. We've had a good month. And so if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back to the numbers. In the end, I think it'll be the best quarter that we've ever had. But it started slow, guys. I lie to you not. The first 3 weeks of this quarter were dry. Just woo. It looked great, and I was hustling, and Gordon looks like everything's going great, but it was do the work. It was do the work, and I didn't have the clients lined up. And so I just say that because I didn't hit my third quarter at the beginning with the typical strategy that I typically do, because my focus had been diverted. So I learned some lessons from that about just not taking my eye off the ball. I'm all for taking on side projects or additional projects, but I know that I can't forget the goose, and I can't forget where I need to put my energies. For us, our pattern is 2 seminars a month now. We locked that in July. We had been doing maybe 1, maybe 3 every 2 months. Thankfully, we are being asked to speak a lot, but like my seminar I'm going to announce Monday is just one of our seminars, breaking the $250,000 barrier. That'll be me in a Zoom room and a little bit more exclusive. And then the next 3 are invites. So that is our approach. I mean, all the social media, all the networking. But if you ask me how I create a pipeline, my pipeline is seminars, follow-up appointments, close business. And then I'm trusting my social media and my networking to draw us business. And so Open Kimono, that's the way we do business. It really is. And then we, thankfully, I never eased up on my social media, even when doing the doctor's office. So it felt like, we still had some momentum, and you always have momentum on social media, but we're all, to some extent, definitely my realtors, local businesses. I mean, I'm fortunate that I can do virtual, but if you're a local business, you've got to be in the world, and people have got to see your face, and they've got to remember that you're alive and do business. And so that's where we went in the third quarter. I'm very thankful for how it ended. I would love one more close tomorrow, and I'm not giving up on it. Could meet someone at that chamber event tonight that has been meaning to get back in touch with me. I have potential closes for, and I guess I hope you're okay with it. Like, the elite seminars are just full open transparency. I'm just trying to be as honest with you as I can. I want it to help you. I want you guys to be comfortable as well. I mean, I've got meetings in October that are potential closes, and I have one promised contract. We all know how promised contracts go. Promised contracts count when the check clears the bank, and probably when you spend the money and you can't give it back. That's probably when you can count on it. But the good person, I trust them. And for us, that would be a monthly contract, not a paid in full. And we bounce back and forth between the two. Paid in fulls will solve a problem. Monthly will pay the bills, is the way we kind of see those. So guys, does anyone feel comfortable enough to kind of tell me how your quarter was? You can go as top line, bottom line, as in-depth or as shallow. There is no guilt, shame, or fear here. Who feels comfortable talking about their third quarter? And if not, I'll hop on to the next point.
Well, I don't, we just started working together, Gordon. So we have our meeting tomorrow, and we're going to talk about goals. Things have really slowed for us. What we do is very tied to the housing market. We do a lot of deep cleans, move in, move out cleanings. So I can't really say that I've met a goal because I didn't really have a goal. I'm thankful I have a lot of recurring business right now that has been built over the course of 4 years. And so I'm pleased. I think that I'm very grateful that I have that recurring business that has been built over 4 years. Very grateful, given that everything has slowed for new work. But it's just trickling in. Yeah. So I think for our company, for Professional Edge Cleaning, we're looking forward to really just honing in and targeting a little bit better who we're serving and how we're serving them. And looking forward to, in the fourth quarter, possibly expanding further north and getting some work as far as Washington, D.C. Like to go all the way to Washington and to Richmond. I'd like to be able to cover that spread. So I'm excited about, this, coming into the holidays. A lot of people do call on us for holiday cleaning, but it's just kind of hard to know. This economy is so kind of wacky. So it's we're not really quite sure how it's going to go. For our, a regular recurring. So that's all I really have to share at this point, really.
Yeah. And Vicki, guys, Vicki and I are going to do our first deep dive tomorrow, actually. And I look forward to finding out a little bit more the details of the business and then marketing it better. So thank you. Anybody else?
I had a really great second quarter, which was nice, nice surprise. But I beg your pardon. It was the third quarter that was great. The one that's just ending was great. But that was really the pivotal point where I realized that I needed to set new goals for what I wanted to do next year, where I really wanted to be, how I wanted to position myself. So that's when you and I connected, and I said, I think I'm going to need some help kind of re-evaluating how I do what I do. And if I want to make that leap I'm going to need some expert advice and marketing skills to do that. So that's why we connect. I mean, honestly, it was really just because I liked you and I wanted to give you $10,000. That was kind of really.
I'm glad to know that at times that does happen. It does. So it's much better than when I was bullied on the playground in 6th grade. I tell you that. So
No, seriously. I think the thing that resonated with me the most was your ability to be able to identify very quickly where I was struggling, where I could improve. And then you said, I think we can do A, B, and C. And I went, that makes sense. I got you. So I've written out my numbers. I know where I want to be. I know what I want to do for next year, for the first quarter. And really, in order to do that, I'm kind of, if I have, for whatever business I do have right now and whatever business I want to complete for the fourth quarter, that's fine. I don't have any push goals for this quarter, because what I need to do is essentially take this time to create the marketing plan that you and I have created and put that into play. So I don't have any, I don't have any big expectations for, fourth quarter, other than let's just set a good plan in motion.
Pam, you make a great point. I was talking to someone considering marketing services this week, and they mentioned their slow period. And no matter what, every industry's got one. Well, there's a couple industries, but they're illicit that don't have slow periods. But most everybody's got a slow period. And, and the point I was trying to make to him is that is when you grind. Like, that's when you do this kind of work, because none of us can turn on the community being aware of us. Like, I can't just decide that Monday is going to be the day everybody's aware of us. Like, it is a slow build. I remember when I was like, I'm going to tackle TikTok. My child can post something and get 10,000 views and I can get 100. Like, what am I not doing right? That kind of thing. And Gary Vaynerchuk said, if you want to know how to do TikTok, post twice a day, come back in a year and tell me how to do it. And I thought, well, challenge accepted. And so I just started posting twice a day. And I'm still not the magic 1,000 followers monetized, whatever, which is not necessarily what I care about. What I care about is awareness is growing and I get clients from TikTok. That's what it matters, right? But it came down to, I'm going to do 2 a day. I'm going to grind it out. And so I think you're right. I mean, for the quarter you want, now's the time to put it in. And I think practically we're all old enough to know that that's really the way life works. I mean, we understand, we're old enough to understand the cycles and seasons, and we've lived long enough to not be naive kids to think that things happen immediately. But when
Lisa's not, she's young and she's hip.
I didn't mean, some of you guys are fresh out of school, I know, but
oh yeah.
So but I'm comparing you to my lovely daughters who would like things to be much more instantaneous, or probably better yet, comparing to their classmates. But it is what we're doing here is undertaking the long hard work of sustaining an awareness into the community. And funny enough, go back to myself. In July, I was like, I have to go back and do what I've told everybody else. For me, I maintained our minimal numbers, but that's not the same as us growing in the community. That's not people saying, I see you everywhere, which is what I need for the company and that kind of thing. So,
well, I see you everywhere.
Well, thank you. And you know what, guys, there's a level I haven't hit yet. Like, I think if you read Grant Cardone's book, 10X, 10X rule, excuse me, buy an audiobook. Well, his voice is grating. If you're a reader, read it. If you need an audiobook, buy it. Like I listen to the book twice a year, and I think I can do more. We can do more. I mean, I think he sent something like 20,000 tweets in 1 year. Because platforms like Twitter or X and TikTok, you can't overwhelm them. They're not Facebook, so they don't have a straightforward algorithm. they go in a million different directions. You could literally tweet every minute and not tweet too much. You could post on TikTok every minute and not they're just different. That's the joy of the platform, is you could just get found one day. And he was like, oh, well then someone's never going to get tired of me because I'm going to streamline my day on there. And but what you're saying, Lisa, is, but just consistent good content. I knew that for me, I knew in the second quarter I was doing maintenance. I was making sure something was going up, but it wasn't creative, engaging content. Now I'm going to tell anybody, make sure your content goes up. If that's what you've got, that's what you've got. You're going to stay in the feed. You're going to stay in people's eyeballs. But I knew I had let some of the creativity go away, and we had turnover employed. We're all business owners. We understand that that's the nature, and how do we survive that is what matters for our longevity. I had to go learn Canva. I don't want to learn Canva, but I went and learned Canva. I'm good at Canva. I tell Amy all the time, I don't want to be this good at Canva. I want someone else to be better at Canva, but it's what happens. So Lisa, any thoughts for your quarter?
Yes, my quarter was phenomenal. Not as far as money goes. However, as far as I started off in June, leaving my last broker. I went to an intermediate broker like for 2 weeks. Then I moved over to Next Home, and it is just like night and day from anywhere else I've ever been. So I'm getting the support, the encouragement, and so I'm getting feedback now from just getting out and networking like I've never done before. And just the past week, I've heard from just neighbors in my neighborhood that, I don't know, I mean, we talk a lot, but not anybody says anything about my life, we just kind of chit chat. And I'm getting 3 or 4 people saying, hey, how's it going? And your business seems to be booming. And so it's just like, what? I just had a phone call an hour ago. My neighbor, she's like, well, I haven't seen you in so long, stranger, but I do see that you're out and about and you're like having so much fun. And I really am. And I really love it. And so I don't know why I haven't done it in the past year and a half since I started this. I just don't think I was in the right place. So this is great. And I haven't seen Pam in 3 years. And now, again, I see her everywhere.
I'm going to take a little credit for that, but I'm glad. I'm so glad you guys are connecting. I'll say this. I never want anybody to be dishonest and inflate their business. But if someone says, Gordon, I've had people in July when I was partially terrified, and people are like, it just looks like your business is doing incredible. I didn't say, nah. I just, all I say is, you know what? I'm so thankful for where I'm at right now. That's all there's no need. And I don't think any of the 3 of you are like that. I see Debbie Downers all the time. It drives me crazy. Like, why are you in public talking about how bad business is? Like, I don't want you to lie, but we can all say, I'm so thank you. I'm really thankful for where things out. And I got bigger goals, than I have now. And so, I want to commend you guys. I really do. When I was a pastor, and I try not to give too many pastor or running examples because I wear you guys out. Running, really, I lose people running immediately. So I'll stop there. But, the most common question I got as a pastor is, no one called me pastor, by the way. I didn't have anybody. I was not reverend, pastor, and then we just say Gordon. So they're like, Gordon, what if I'm not really saved? I got that question like 100 times. But then, like, what if we all find out? And I just said, I was like, non-believers don't ask that question. Like, if you ask that question, you're probably fine. So it's not a question that any pagan runs around going, I'm afraid I'm accidentally a Christian. No one thinks that. So I share that with you for this reason. You guys have made a commitment, not just to me, but like you guys are in a place right now, you're like, I'm committed to grow my business. And I can tell you in a made up number that 98% of the people out there are not that. I met with a brand new potential client today. and they went to a networking event, and they said, Gordon, it felt like a bunch of jobless, hopeless people. I never want to go there again. And I was like, ugh. I was like, well, unless they're your target audience, don't go back there. But they probably are not your target audience if they're all jobless and hopeless. They're probably not going to help you. And so saying that,
they're wannabe business owners.
yeah, yes, the entrepreneurs. They were the entrepreneurs out there. And
I had an artist friend of mine who used to say, she was in art school, right? Art college. And she says there's the artist and then there's the wannabe artist. And the artists are the ones who actually are in class and do their assignments. And the wannabes are the ones who are in the coffee shop talking about their artwork all the time, but never doing anything.
I lead a mastermind on Thursday for authors. And I always tell them, I was like, writers write, but authors publish. Big difference. Every human being in the world's got the novel they're sitting on. Writers write, but authors actually publish. And so same thing, you can be a business owner. You guys have made a commitment. I mean, not just with me, but you made a commitment that you're going to push your business into the marketplace. And it is the differentiator from the people who succeed. Now, you know that you got to do all the work. You got to, same person I was speaking to a minute ago. I said, listen, I like you a lot, but I see you guys come and go. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, listen, every 3 months, someone blazes the networking trail. Man, they hit everything, running for office for about 3 months. And then they disappear. And I was like, I don't want that for you. Like, you're doing the right thing. Touch them all. And then figure out, where do I spend my time? And, but I was like, I think you'll make it. I mean, the person's got a lot of character and a lot of drive. I was like, but the people run through the car wash all the time.
Through the car wash, I like that.
Yeah, and it's okay. Listen, the industry's weeded out. Like, it's just a natural process. It weeds folks out. Going back to 10X, I mean, when I look at what we do as a company and what I do, I mean, I just know that I know that a $10 million problem for me would be easier to handle than, $10,000 problems. I know in fact, there's not really any difference. The millionaires I know go like, when I say, how do you do it? They're like, I don't know. It's just, I've just organized my day this way. I mean, I met with Millie, he's got 14 businesses. And I'm like, do you do the P&L every single month of every one of those? He goes, no, I've got 3 CEOs here. I got a CEO here. I directly manage this one. And then we have a system here. It's just, you have a greater capacity for growth. You have a greater capacity for creativity. You have a greater capacity for marketing. You've got a greater, but managing that in such a way that you also do the things that are healthy. And, the seminar that I did, I've now given 3 times. Pam, I did that seminar twice today, by the way, the law of attraction. Vicky, I did it one more time after I left you. It's all right. And, just being a mercenary, if it's in the way of the goal, then we just get rid of it. And again, I'm not talking about mama. I'm not talking about time with your kids, but I am talking about stuff that, listen, guys, I've watched 70 movies this year. I love watching movies. Now, if it's with Emma, I don't care. I'll watch 100. If she says, can I watch Nightmare on Elm Street 2? I'm like, ring it up. I don't care, girl. Put it in there. I do not care. If my 17-year-old wants time with me watching a movie, outside of NC-17, we're going to watch whatever she wants to watch. Right. Mm-hmm. But I also know that of those I've got time killers that weren't constructive downtime. My Saturdays are constructive downtime. I go for my run. Amy and I hang out. We try to watch TV in the mornings. We go get coffee, and I really do. I have constructive downtime. But I also know I got time killers as well. I know that I've got capacity for more, and I know you guys do too. But I don't want this just to be let's do more. That's part of it. That's part of it. When you think at what, and we can talk specific marketing, or we can talk business, we can talk staffing, but when you think about the distance between where you are now and the goals you want to accomplish. And I know maybe not everybody has drilled down to exactly that number, but when you think the distance between the two, what are the essential things right now you need to get there? Because if we don't know the connector between that, creates great anxiety. Like we're walking around like I should be doing this, and I don't know what this middle thing is. So for you guys, when you think, aside from what you're already doing, like, but what is the thing you need that's going to connect you? And I'm talking about you, and we can't say more clients. We know that's what we need. But I mean, like, what's the thing that's in front of you that you can put your hand to or delegate that you might need to get you there?
Documented systems.
Okay, systems. Yeah.
I have systems, they're documented, but they're not organized. And they're at different points of development.
Mhm.
A lot of them are completed, some of them are half completed. And then putting it into a training program,
Mhm.
a video training program that I can train others to do what I do.
Mhm. You know, the book Atomic Habits,
Yep.
if you haven't read it or listened to it, if you have, just go back and re-listen to a podcast about it. But we don't rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. That's the whole book. It should have been a tweet, but you don't make $1 million off a tweet. And so, yeah. And so, yeah, for you, Vicky, you're right. People coming into your cleaners or whatever you may be calling them, forgive me, your contractors,
Providers.
providers, forgive me. Yeah, if they know the professional edge way, they're gonna move more seamlessly into the system. You'll retain them. You'll probably acquire them more.
And
Yeah.
those are some parts because they're contractors,
Mhm.
right? So that's kind of a touchy area too, in terms of what I can and cannot have them do or asking them to do.
Mhm.
But that's actually that's partially developed, but then even creating systems so that I can duplicate myself in other parts of the Virginia, the country, this model that I've created.
Yeah, I'd love for you to be able to franchise. I mean,
Yeah, it's very doable.
Yeah,
Very,
of
very
course it is.
doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Franchises are built on two things: popularity and reproducibility. That's it. That's it. If you like the taste of it and you can reproduce it, you can build a franchise. We had a franchise here 4 years ago that lasted 6 months called Burger IM, across the street from Barnes and Noble.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. If you ever eat there,
Yes,
whole family got sick. Whole family got sick.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
except, yeah, I
It
mean,
was,
we didn't have let me send a message here. I'm sorry, I just got a notification. We didn't have stomach poisoning or food poisoning, but we definitely had something that was not right. And so yeah, it was a mess. So yeah, but they are famous, if you study franchises, that they got a bunch of venture capital and didn't require prior experience. I mean, all it required was like $70,000. They threw a bunch of them out there. There was no consistency, and the whole thing is out of business.
Yep.
Oh, the whole thing
The whole
altogether.
thing. Yeah,
Yep.
they just out. I mean, they just didn't make their money back.
It's chaos.
And,
Yeah. It's just chaos.
But for you, if you've got a product that people like and it can be reproduced, then yeah, it can grow. I mean, I see that for me as a human being. If I can, I'm not going to reproduce myself as a speaker, but at some point in time, I could have people doing different elements of the coaching. That doesn't have to be me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can definitely reproduce the elements of the marketing. I got in a situation, I shared with you guys, I lost my graphic videographer at one point in time, and it put me in a bad spot. A single point of failure. It's my own fault. And I don't use Fiverr or any of that stuff. I mean, I use people who I feel like have good quality. I just can't be in that situation again. But the last quarter was me like, I'll take it back. I'll take this back, but I can't stay here. So you're right. Reproducible systems and handing off things that we don't need to be doing. Yeah, great.
And
Anybody-
identifying things that we don't need to be doing. That's a little bit of my challenge too.
Mhm.
And identifying, you know, what you can delegate. That does not, what has to get done, but doesn't have that much of an impact on the result.
Yeah,
If that makes
yeah.
sense.
Can I ask a question? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gordon.
Well, no, I was going to say that the percentage I see thrown around is if someone can do it 80% as well as you, they should be doing it. The number is probably less than that, but I think most business owners or independent operators aren't going to give it away less than 80%. If you said 60%, you're like, I don't feel comfortable, but okay. But if someone can do it 80% as well as you, and then you should be doing what only you can do. Granted, we know we got to tier to it. We got to, to begin with, you got to do all the work, but yeah, eventually what is it you can just hand away?
I was going to ask the others if they struggle with the idea of delegating because they have a control issue.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Is it just like nobody can do it as well as I can?
For me,
yeah, please.
Yeah, I don't think I have as much of a control issue, although Gordon, after talking to me, he might feel differently. But I think for me, it's training them properly.
Yeah.
That's
what I
is
wondered.
trying to get my brain, trying to get them to think like me when
Right.
they're working with a client.
Right.
If they're going to take a phone call, how they talk to the client, how they make the client feel, how they, interact with the client, and how they collect the information so that the client doesn't feel like they're going through a checklist, and just little things that I do to try to provide kind of a higher level of customer service. So that's just an example, but it could be anything. I do have an assistant, and she's such a sweet person, but I had her just do a brochure for me because I participated in the FAR conference, and I said, hey, work on this brochure. Maybe I'll use it. Right. And I looked at it and it was okay. But there was errors in it. And I thought to myself, I would never let my boss see something with all those errors in it, but it's just finding the right people too. It's hard. Yeah.
With delegation, I'll go ahead, Pam. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that last week I went to the Virginia Association of Realtors conference, and one of my favorite speakers there said, delegate the stuff you hate. And she wasn't talking about in work. She said, if you can't, she said, you can buy time. So what you do is if you have to clean your house and that takes time, and it's something you hate doing, hire someone to do it.
Right. I do.
Right. If you don't want to, right. And hire someone to do your lawn, hire them.
Right.
And so I started writing down a list of that. And I was like, here's some real challenges I have that interfere with my time.
Right.
And this week I found, I met 3 of my needs. I hired 3 people to do those things. And I was like,
oh, wow.
In that regard, I can buy time for my business. So because something Gordon it resonated with me. Something he said was, he was talking about, only do things that, how did you put it, Gordon? You were talking about like only do things that create income or create, use your time for, I'm badly.
That's it. I'm badly remembering, but you're right. At this point in time, we've got to be doing income generating activities. And so,
thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
That's what I said. That's what I said. But
and I was like, well, that's such a great point, because if it takes me, 3 hours twice or 3 times a week to clean my Airbnb, why am I not hiring someone to do that? Because then I can use that time to do something that would generate an income. And that's not generating income. And I was
absolutely.
Why is it something that was so simple and it eluded me?
And the great point on that is, that for us to make sure we take the next step, which is if my time is freed up now, what am I doing with that time?
Right.
Because we're all, maybe not, I mean, but the temptation to be like, it's nice to catch my breath now. Okay, well, catch your breath, but then, that can't be the pattern. All I did was just spend more money. But I mean, I know how valuable my time is. I know the same for you guys. So if we pay for something to free up our time, we have to immediately replace it with something that produces more than that dollar spent. So it makes sense to spend $200 to clean your home. Because that, because you were probably doing it at 9 o'clock at night and not getting sleep or whatever the case may be. But now am I freed up to think clear? Am I thinking to plan? Like it right now, for most of us, if we pay for a time gainer, we're in the situation we have to replace that with work.
Right.
Until
we get to the income that just keeps recurring and recurring.
And I think that that's also, also when you say buying time or doing income generating activities, in some respects, that does not necessarily need money. So for example, if you value sitting down and reading a book for 30 minutes, well, the value of that, because you didn't have that time before, but now you have that time just to kind of relax or whatever, that could be priceless to you, so it's really like, how you value your time.
Yeah,
but
I mean, part of that lifestyle design question for all of us is, okay, how much downtime do we really need? And everyone has the beauty of figuring it out on their own, because no one wants my schedule and I probably don't want yours. So, but how much downtime do we really need? And that's when I look at the 70 movies I've watched. I'm like, man, I could probably cut out a couple of those and knock out some work, or have it running in the background and get some work done too. But like, how much do we really need?
Right.
I mean, for me, I know that I need no downtime until 5:30. I don't. I mean, I might take a 15-minute lunch to each Chipotle, but otherwise, when I wake up, I am happy and rocking and rolling until 5:30 or 6, and then my brain just decides to check out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need anything in the morning. Now that, again, no one needs my schedule. That's fine. But if all of a sudden on a random Wednesday, I'm like, I'm just going to sit and watch TikTok at 7 a.m., which is tempting, I don't need that. That does nothing for me. It's just distracting. That, again, just me. So the question is, what downtime do you need it? When do you need it? But that downtime should be rejuvenating us to go back to work. That sounds awful. It sounds so mercenary. My lifetime, that's me, Amy, and the girls. Random adventure I get, maybe go to a concert or something. But otherwise, I mean, I don't need it. It's just, I mean, I need sleep. As long as I get to run, that's as personal as I get. But that also is physical. We got to throw all the physical health in there as well. So my hobby is annoyingly knocking out 2 things at one time.
And that resonates with me. I'm sorry, go ahead, Pam.
No, please.
Well, and when you were talking about the law of attraction, and that's what we have to kind of fight all the time. I feel like for me particularly, like people see me and they're like, gosh, Vicki, you're always going. And I'm like, I'm happy. I like to go. I like to do it, but they're always wanting to tell me, you should slow down. You need to go have fun. You need to go do this, that, the other. And I'm thinking,
do I look stressed? Is that what they're saying? Like, what are you saying?
I don't know.
Why do you think I need rest? Is it because I make you look bad, or is it because I look bad?
A good question. I don't know. I'm like, what?
I'm gonna be cliched. I hate cliches except when they're right. And you'll never be criticized by someone who does more than you. Never. My multi-millionaire friend with 14 businesses sleeps about 5 hours and is happy. And if you can say it's going to catch up with you one day, well, it hasn't, so he'll figure that out. But he's never said, Gordon, I think you're working too hard. No. I've got family members who are like, I had a family member the other day who has zero concept what I do or the money I make, who said, I think you're getting too busy. You're going to have to stop taking clients soon. And I was like, I mean, literally like could not tell and she'll say, I don't exactly know what you do. And I think my social media is not good. I'm working on that. If you don't know what I do, I better work on it better. But she's like, you're gonna stop taking clients. I'm like, there will never be a day. If
But I
you
think
gave me, if you gave me a client right now that was 100% beyond my capacity, I would take it. And I would spend all night long hiring people. Like, I mean, there's not, I mean, there's now, if it was something we don't do, that's fine. I mean, if you ask me to do what Vicky does, I'm like, not what I do. I know Vicky, but you know, if you said, hey, Gordon, we need $100,000 contract and you're going to take over Geico's marketing right now, I'm like, done. Like, when do we start? And then I would go figure it out. I'd make the commitment. But yeah,
Yep.
she and this is my wonderful unemployed relative who's like, I think you're going to have to stop taking clients. I was like, go look at my P&L. I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well, and it's like when people say that to me, I'm like, no, I'm good, really.
Yeah, I'm
But
happy.
but that's a but
I'm
Pam,
happy. Why are you messing with my life? Like,
but
I'm
Pam, that's a good point because I'm thinking to myself, do I look stressed? Because she's like, are you okay? I'm like gonna go look in the mirror. I'm like, I am not. I mean, I'm really not. I'm not
Well,
stressed, but I'm like, do I come across
yeah.
that way?
Well, that's the point too. That was the other thought I had. And Gordon and I, in my last meeting with Gordon, he said he'd been unintentionally having conversations with people who were whining or complaining a lot.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, it's time to take a little personal inventory. Am I whining or complaining or bitching about something? And that's when people go, Pam, you need a break.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
I'm
don't
like,
complain.
the only person
I don't, yeah.
I mean,
I don't
if
know if I'm
Amy
allowed-
will say you don't look good, and I'll listen to her. Like, she'll
Mhm.
just say you
Well,
don't
yeah,
look good,
different,
and,
yeah.
and I'm not, and that's me not being objective.
But that's your wife who
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
you
Sure.
but
and
she kno-
supports you. Right.
She
Yeah.
will say to me all the time, you make me tired because of my pace. And that's fine. And I've told her 100 times, I don't ask you to keep up with my pace, babe. I love you at your pace. But if she says you look tired, I listen because I'm not paying attention to something.
Right. Right.
But otherwise, guys, I want to collect critics. So I want a bundle of them. I want critics and haters, and I want a big giant group of them, because that probably means that you're making enough of impression into the marketplace that people are aware of you. And it's folks who aren't hustling. For real estate agents, the 586 homes on the market in July. I've shared this, I think, with both of you. 586 in July, down 15% from last year. That's a lot of homes. There weren't 586 agents hustling 50 hours a week.
Mm.
There weren't. And again, it's a tougher market, tough interest. Everything's tougher, 100%. But there's still 500 homes out there for someone to rep and someone to go get. It's harder, and that trickles down to you, Vicky. It trickles down to me. We're all very closely related to the real estate industry. But somebody sold those homes. Somebody did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, you're right, Vicky. I mean, for all of us, we have to figure out the pace for the life we want to create. And so for most of us at the stages we're at, the life we want to create means a very busy pace. And then that trickles all the way down to how we eat, drink, sleep, work out, all that stuff.
Right.
Then everything becomes, a machine. Everything becomes part of that. And so mentally, back to what Pam said, I gave some people a break a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, too negative. Because if I'm riding down the car, I'm either listening to a podcast, audiobook, or talking to people. That's not silent time for me. And there were a couple of people I'm like, just can't talk to them for a while. And then all of a sudden I'm like, it's kind of quiet. Like I wouldn't say I was lonely, but all of a sudden I had a couple of days where I'm like, I'm not really talking to anybody but clients here at this point in time. And joke, by the way, I'm all over the place. In our industries, your clients will become friends more than your friends will become clients. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't mean to tweet that, but someone told me that the other day, and I was like,
Good one.
holy cow. All my friends are my clients. And all my buddies are hiring out their social media to someone else. Like, what the heck? But
Mhm.
yeah, we got to clean out the critics, man. We got enough junk in our brains. We don't need more people speaking that stuff into our lives. We really don't. So other thoughts, we were talking about what we need to get to where we want it with our goals.
I need to learn how to time block or schedule my day, put things in order, because I'm like a little ADD with that. And I could hear, if I'm at home, I could hear something on the TV because my husband has to have the TV on. I could hear something and I'll be like, oh, what's that? You know, I'm not in front of the TV. There's no TV in my office, but it's, you know, down the hall or whatever. And I'm like, or I'll get up and, you know, just grab a cup of coffee, but something happens on my phone. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm down here on my phone. And I was just getting a cup of coffee, going right back to what I was doing. I'm like all over the place. I just need to sit still and do my work.
Is it distractions? Is that what we're talking about?
I'm easily distracted, put it that way. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. I need to have a schedule. Like I know you were talking about, someone was talking about non-negotiables, like in your time. Every morning I wake up, it's an hour of prayer and devotion. That's what I do. And that doesn't get interrupted. That I know is going to be on the day. But after that, you know, it could be all over. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to put it in order so that I can do it.
So I don't mean to sound like a heretic. But I don't you love that opening phrase. But so you've made the hour of prayer and devotion like a non-negotiable for you. And I say, good. The other things are negotiable for you.
Yeah, but
that
I
one's
need them
not.
to be non-negotiable.
Right. And good for you. I mean, that's a good thing. But
that's such an interesting point. I didn't think about it that way. Yikes.
And some things,
like, in other words, Lisa would never miss her devotion time and her prayer time, but she's happy to miss her phone call time. Or happy
yes,
to
definitely.
not happy. I'm exaggerating to make a point.
But yeah,
but you're like, but it's flexible.
Yeah.
Right.
And we do that. I get it. There are things that we all decide, you know, don't mess with mama at 7 o'clock or whatever we do, right? You know what mine is in the morning. I mean, those things are non-negotiables. Well, then 21 days for a habit, 90 days for a thought change. Like, well, then we've got to find some place that we just say this hour, this 30 minutes is sacred. Nothing else happens. No, I can't.
You do sound like a heretic. Shame.
Yes, soundproof room, different space, whatever the case may be. Make this non-negotiable, and then that's what but it's patterning and imprinting our brain. It's just what we're going to do.
Yeah, Lisa, have you ever heard of time blocking?
Yes, but I don't know how to do it.
So I did it a few years ago and I was like, it was awesome. And I've been trying to get back to it, but I can't say that I've been doing a great job at it, but it's really what Gordon is talking about. And it's, having blocks of time, and basically those blocks of time are the non-negotiable. Like you're going to do this at this time. And you can even block out when you're going to make phone calls. You can block out when you're going to call clients about this, that, or the other. You can block out what you're going to do in your day. You find that you've got big blocks of time that are open sometimes. That's the hard part. For me, and I don't know about you, but my difficulty is that I'll have these blocks of time, but then I get a phone call. I'll get a phone call or I'll get an email that I need to, or a provider will contact me. And so my attempt to try to keep that sacred, and not interrupted, it's interrupted. And that then trumps what I want to do.
That is hard for me too.
And it's hard to turn the notifications off. It's hard to turn the phone off. It's hard to turn the emails off if it requires that manner of silence. I mean, again,
I didn't even think of that, turning email off. I mean, that would be very helpful. Because as soon as it pops up on my screen, I'm like, oh, gotta go.
Well, we're all in business. We're like, I don't want to miss I don't want to miss a potential client. And Amy encourages me after seminars to not schedule anything. And so I usually have an open day. And so if any of you guys saw yesterday, I was feeling tired. I'll tell you why. I mean, so I was tired after the seminar, which is understandable for me, a lot of energy. Followed up with a lunch, and I started to get a little sleepy at lunch. But then we had a website deliverable that I had spent a lot of time on. And then I had a potential client who's like, the only time I can meet you is here. And it's a potential client. And I took all those meetings and I just ran until 8 o'clock. And I just didn't rejuvenate that day. I just didn't. I woke up yesterday and normal rejuvenations didn't happen. I didn't block that well. And the reason urgency happened is I didn't block the stuff that popped up well. Like it was just, if I had blocked that website edit at a different time, it wouldn't have popped up as an urgent thing. And if you tell someone they're super I've got to meet now and I want to talk about being, a sales meeting. I mean, I should have been transparent. Like, listen, I want to give you my 100% energy and your business deserves that. But I'm afraid if I meet with you at this time, I won't be able to do that. Understanding your urgency, could we do this time? I could have done that, but I didn't. I was like, sure, of course I'll meet you. Heck yeah. And, and I turned it on for another hour and then blasted out my receptors and they just didn't come back online. And so and I know, for my condition, I can't do that either. So aside from just normal tiredness, just, prior planning prevents piss
Poor
poor
performance.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you got
said
the
it
piss poor.
Sorry, Vicky. Sorry.
Rose's extra
Said it
pee in
nicer
there.
than I did. Sorry.
But I appreciate, Lisa, what you said about your time of devotion. And I kind of was there too. And I've got that block in the morning, but a lot of times around 7:30, not a lot, but enough times I'll get a call, from a client because I got the appointments coming up. But then I started having the plan B, where, I'm in my car now at the block of time that I said I was going to do my devotional, but I'm listening to, Wisdom Hunters or Abide or whatever it is. And I'm listening and I'm still focusing there.
Yeah.
But it is challenging. I totally hear you, relate.
Well, I'm going to say something that you may not agree with, but that's fine. we all do what we want to do. We're doing what we want to do. If you want to do something different, you do something different. And you're like, well, I want to do this, and this. Well, like you're doing it. Like if you don't want to do that and you want to do something else, then you would create a system to do it differently. And
I love and hate you at the same time, Gordon. This is what pisses me off about you.
It's tough love.
Well, I know
tough
for
love.
myself.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for myself. It's 100% true. But
That's right.
And what changes is when we change our, our affections. What do we want? What do we love? What we want? What we prioritize it.
That's right.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of not doing what I need to do at times. Of course we are. But
We all
right
are.
now, right now we all need to be urgent. We all need to be urgent. We're not panicky, but urgent,
Proactive.
a healthy
intentional.
urgency would not be bad right now.
Yeah.
Listen, don't worry. My husband is a doomsday prepper, and we must have about 1,000 pounds of rice in my basement.
Good.
So if anything happens, you guys come on over. We're having beans and rice.
So I have a friend.
My husband has the same thing, Pam. Oh my word.
I have a
Oh, good
friend,
grief.
high six-figure business dude. I mean, crazy prepper. And I made a joke that I was coming over, and he goes, "Not unless you can contribute."
What?
He's like, "What are you bringing to the collective?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You will not be adding to the community." He goes, "If you can add to the community, you're more than welcome to come over, but you're not just come eat my stuff." I'm like, "Dude, we've been friends 24 years." I was like, "Are you joking?" He goes, "Not at all."
That's what you say. I'm gonna be bringing a positive attitude, buddy. That's what I'm gonna bring.
He's like, I've told my
really.
wife a couple of times, "Sweetie, I don't know what you're bringing to this situation." I was like, "Man, I don't know how you do it," but
Bag of
no,
rice.
he was dead serious. He is not sharing unless
Dang,
I'm knocking at the door.
that's hard. That's
can bring
cold.
He knows. Everyone knows where this. I love him to death. Everyone knows where you stand. So,
Like,
Well,
Chris
there's
was even
that
like at a
something.
point where he was like, Maybe we should get some guns and ammo." And I'm like, "For what? To
Oh,
like
we got
pick
that.
off the people who
He-
like steal our tomatoes?"
he's got all the he's got all the guns and
If
ammo
the
I
shit
couldn't even
goes
contribute.
down,
It's
what are
gonna
we
happen.
do?
But I am glad to know there's resources in the community.
Yeah, you know where to run.
Glad
Yeah,
to
I'm
know.
glad to know Pam. I think Pam, I've seen you before in some of these events or whatever, but now I really know. Now I really want to know you, right?
There we go. There we
Oh,
go. So
I feel
yeah,
so much better. Yeah.
I'm
All right,
impressed that
baby,
you can
come
have a
on
lot of
over.
rice. I don't know how you keep the mice out of the rice. Tupperware, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how you do it. So
Well, they come in
have
the big
guns.
container, the big closed containers are sealed and
Yeah.
everything. You
All
can't
right.
get in. You can't even get in.
You can't get
You need a gun. I'm sorry, Gordon.
no, listen,
we're out
guys,
of
I
control.
told you I had a very loose skeleton.
hijacked your, we hijacked
I
your
know, I
meeting.
got it. Well, who knew we were gonna go to Doomsday Preppers? But hey, listen, everybody makes fun of them until you need them. It's fine.
That's right. No, hey,
Yeah,
I know where I'm going, so I'm all good.
Amen.
So
Okay.
yeah, so but right now we're talking about what we need. So I know for me, eventually I'm going to need more salespeople. I can't. I mean, I have to. You know, because my company. I mean, I've got clients in New Zealand. I can do this anywhere. I need people. You know, essentially affiliates who market for me. You know that I know that for me. I mean, I can have people hustling in the best way my product online from their platforms. Anybody in the world could do that, and then I pay them a percentage of what they bring in. And I've contacted one, but I know I need to grow my YouTube channel. I've spent almost no time on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world.
Wow. Really?
I put yeah, second largest. Well, I mean it's Google. It's connected.
Mm,
Most people either
Google's
searching,
taking over the world.
you're
That's
either
awesome.
searching for a text or you're searching for a video. Depends on how you're a learner. If you're a visual learner, you just go to YouTube. And I mean, I might have 55 followers on YouTube. That shouldn't be for a company. I just have never nurtured it. So I'm reading a book right now called The YouTube Formula, second largest YouTube artist in the world. And I'm like, I know that I've got to do that. If I grew my YouTube audience, the company would grow beyond Fredericksburg. And that's what I got to do. I got to keep growing beyond Fredericksburg because I can reach a lot more people here than I can through networking events. And so, you know, my buddies who have reproduced, you know, they've done my version of, I mean, their version of my model, I guess. You know, I've got buddies who did $1.2 million in the last 13 months. And, you know, they've done a great job, but they have a team of like 13 people and, you know, it's reproducible.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
know?
you need someone bringing them in and then you're gonna still coach?
Yep.
Or what are you looking for?
Well, there's a couple of things. So, I mean, I need leads 100%. And right now I still have capacity for coaching. The scalable model is, I have buddies who don't do one-on-one. They do 4 sessions a week. They have coaches who do broad-based marketing on Monday. They do Facebook marketing on Tuesday. They do sales on Wednesday, and then they do group coaching on Thursday. And that's when you get them. I don't know if I'm going to follow that model, but they went from this, that's the model they've now created. So you don't get, they have a high level exclusive program if you want them
Okay.
one-on-one, which makes a lot of sense, but that's the model they've gone into. But mine's different because they don't provide marketing. They're just pure coaching. Whereas we're more, you know, mine's a little bit more of a harder skill set that we're providing. But yeah, I mean, I know that, you know, I need affiliates essentially to bring leads in, and they don't even close their own leads anymore. They have closers now. You don't meet with them until you literally have a coaching session group wise. But I don't know if that's where I'll go. I still got a couple of directions I'm trying to figure out. I've got the life coaching program that I'm still playing around with launching maybe in 2024. That's separate from this. So yeah,
That
those.
Pam and I are gonna join the life
I'd love for you
coaching. We
to.
talked about that the other
Love you
day.
to. Yeah, I've got I own it all. The logo for Capitalize Your Best Life is strong. I love it. I've got all the URLs. I got all the private. I've got everything secured for it. I haven't nailed down the curriculum and exactly what I'm going to offer yet because it'll be expensive and you gotta walk through it. but yeah, but thank you. I'll let you know when it launches. And so, you know, present
Until
client-
then, we'll just take advantage
present
of
clients
our
get
time with you.
present clients get massive
Get on every
Absolutely.
seminar, every,
Yeah.
That's right. That's
every
exactly
freebie.
right.
Well, I mean, for me, guys, and for you guys as well, if you educate for free, you don't have to worry about anything. You really don't. You give away the skill, but you sell the implementation.
Yes.
People don't know how, I don't mean it ugly. I mean, no one knows how to implement it. I can tell people
That's
all day.
exactly
When I tell people 10 to 14 Facebook posts, 7 business posts, 2 TikToks a day, I was like, just go do that for 6 months and you'll gain the clients. And people write it down. And I mean,
Mhm.
obviously we do a lot more than that in the program, but if someone just went and did that, they would grow their
Mhm.
business.
Mhm.
But we all know that implementation is where that. So if you guys educate, and give, you'll gain the clients because you're the only ones who actually know how to implement it. Like we need specialists. We don't need generalists. And so there's way too many generalists out there. So you guys become specialists in that, you'll gain the clients. And so, and that's part of our marketing. That's where we talk about targeting and getting more and more specific and what differentiates you. But I understand that there's a fear. If I share too much, people can just take what I do. I mean, you know, people could think, well, I can start a cleaning business, and Vicky, really, go for it. Rock on, help yourself. Go do
Good
it.
luck.
Good
No.
luck with that.
Have fun.
I
You
know a
know?
lot more than, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my girls' teenage friends who have better social media number than I do, they're like, well, I can do social media. I'm like, rock on, go for it. Go be a professional. Go for it. Come back in 6 months. I mean, I want all the success in the world for you. I really do.
Well, you can hire them then to help you.
I'd love for them to. Yeah, I'd hire them
That's a
to.
great idea. There you go.
I mean, go get so good I have to hire you, and then leave me and go start your own business.
Well, but things like
Mm.
this, Gordon, they provide
Mm.
accountability for learning because it's just like the time blocking.
Mhm.
One of my time blocks is to read. Like I actually have to set aside time to read a book, to
Mhm.
read a business book, and I do like to read, I really do. But I'm accountable to myself.
Mhm.
Whereas when you have an appointment and there's going to be, Gordon, other people, it's like, oh, I got to get on that. Got to do that. There's so much about, I love having people that I'm accountable to. Besides, I mean, I initiate, I'm a self-starter, but I like having an accountability group that I can, meet with and say, this is what I did, and
Me
they can,
too. So
and
do
they,
I.
yeah,
Well,
but
it's-
yet it's lacking in this area. I don't have really anybody that I'm accountable to.
well, it's the difference between a friend and an ally. If I don't want to, if I don't feel like running and I text Danny's my friend. He's gonna be like, well, dude, you probably have been pushing it too hard to take a day off. He's my friend. If I text an ally, he's gonna say, get your butt off the couch, put your shoes on, go out there and run it. I don't care if it's rain. I've got a friend. Her name is Carla. And she'll say, just go put your big boy pants on and go running. I don't care if you're tired. And so you've got to have friends and allies. Friends are wonderful encouragers. They really are. But when you're doing something like this, you need an ally. Like we're doing this together, and this is the strategy. And there's checkup sections. We're back and forth, so we know that you're going to do what you're going to do. And so, so friends are absolutely wonderful and needed, but an ally who will hold you accountable will change your business. But that's all up to us to quote unquote submit to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the right, like my mentor has 100% right to my life. Like he can say he has right to speak, ask any question into my life. And it's the only way it works. So, because otherwise I'll shade it the way I want to shade it or something. And so, and he'll be like, sounds like you're distracted, not doing what you're doing. I'm like, oh gosh, you're right. I am. And he hasn't, and amazing. And I've been blessed. I've had very good mentors. I mean, I recognize throughout my life, I've had, I can mark my life by how good my mentors have been to me, and it makes a difference. So, but anybody else, I'd really like to break around 4:15 if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
But
I've
other
got an
things,
appointment.
Yeah.
other things in the next 10, like what would help you, what's the thing you need to move towards those skill sets. And Lisa, if you want to connect with Vicky on time blocking, there's some couple of great books out there. Real quick, I typically don't take meetings before 9. And that's just because I know I am most productive in the morning. And so if I'm done with all my stuff, my workout, my run, everything, I can get more done between 7 and 9 in 2 hours than a lot of times I can get done the rest of the day. It's my most productive, my most active. And so for me, I mean, I will take a meeting every now and then before 9, but most of the time I don't. Because most people don't want to meet me before 9. That's helpful too. But I know that I can grind out a day a lot of times before 9 o'clock even happens. And so, yeah. And I know that Thursdays are just a wash. And what I mean by that is I just do meetings all day long on Thursday. I got 212. I got everything. I'm just going to meet people all day long on Thursday. And just like, okay. So not much business happens typically on a Thursday in terms of like closing. So if people are like, when you in meet, I'm like, just throw it in there on Thursday, man. Just throw it in there. We'll just blast it out.
I think for me, I think kind of coming back around to that idea of accountability, it would be really great if, you know, I know, you know, Gordon and you and I are meeting and that kind of a thing, but having a group of people that, you know, could meet either Zoom or something like that and have like an accountability group where you'd have just like your, you know, met for an hour and each person would have like 10 minutes or whatever, maybe 6 people, and they had 10 minutes and you'd go around and you'd talk about, okay, this is what I'm working on. This is what I want to accomplish this week, or the next time we meet, this is what I want to do. And everybody writes it down. They could put their summary in or whatever. And then when we come back together, we're like, okay, so you were working on this, 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 and this. How did that go? You know, now that's kind of a coaching thing, I know, but just having that group of people to know that you can support and like, you know, talk to during the week or whatever to support would be just really awesome if that's something like that it could ever happen. But I've not been real successful in getting something like that off the ground. I've tried in the past, but I didn't have like-minded people and it didn't work. You know, you have to have a certain type of person that's in this group that's, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to go.
I would say I would be totally down for that. I would absolutely love that.
Okay. Okay.
Well, you guys mix it up. You guys share contact and start the conversation. And they're as hard to sustain as they are to start.
Yep.
Even if you are driven, they're just, you know, I'm not discouraging anybody. I mean, I'm just saying I've got 2 people over 20 years that I can count on for that. And I'm as much as the problem as someone else sometimes. I mean, you don't think it's like a networking group, like you just put it on your calendar and go, you know, every Thursday at 2 p.m. we meet and just it's got to be holy. It's got to be Lisa's devotional time, and then it works, right?
It's got to be Lisa's. That's what we're going to call it from now
Lisa's
on.
Devotional time. And so, yeah, I mean,
I love it.
You know, the only recommendation I would say is put an end point on it and then see how it goes. Let's try this.
Yeah, right. Try it for 3 months or 4 weeks, whatever. Yeah.
If you're covenanting yourself for life, it's not gonna work out. But just, you know,
well, everything's a season. You know?
Yeah. Give it a couple of weeks and say how we're doing. So
yeah. And I mean, whoever, like Pam, if you wanted to talk about it, and, you know, Lisa, you let us know, but, you know, talking through the kind of characteristics that we want in the people that we would invite personally, and how many people, because you don't want a lot of people.
Yeah, I think you want to keep like a small group where you can just, you know, because again, it can't be too long of a meeting. You know, if you commit to 30 minutes and you're like, all right, what are the things we want to cover?
Right.
How are we doing?
Right. So definitely some possibilities. Pam, I don't know, how do we connect, Gordon? In the chat
Gordon,
button?
Gordon, you can give my contact information.
I think I have all of yours.
Make sure. I mean, I know you're all on Facebook because you're in the group. So I mean, you can always connect on there.
There you go. Okay.
I'll make sure that message wise you guys have that. Well, guys, thank you. This has been a blast. You know, I'm gonna try to start doing these within the group on some topic monthly. But I figured we were at the right spot here to do this. And then,
good. Thank you very much for doing it.
Yeah, it's fun for me.
Thanks, Gordon.
Very much fun for me. I'm gonna head on to my next appointment, like you probably all are. And I had a blast. And I will this will stay up on the Facebook group if you want to revisit anything has said. Okay.
Okay. Have a great time at your chamber event tonight. Thank you.